Hey guys, happy Monday. It's Joe, and it's time for a Pikkit with Joe. I have to apologize. I did weekend shows, but unfortunately, it did not stream out there to anywhere. I'm not sure what happened with my streaming platform, but apologies to you guys for not getting that to you. But big shout out to each and every one of you. Big sis Lisa, yeah, I saw you in the comments over on Sports Grid the other day. Nice to see you over there, and you're looking for the Canes to beat the Predators. We'll talk about that one in a couple minutes. Joe, I'm glad you hit me up and asked me about the Anaheim Ducks. I did give that out on Sports Grid as well. So hopefully a couple of you others got that as well. And good afternoon to you, Matt, too. Okay, guys, we've got a loaded schedule today. So we're going to jump straight into it. Lots of games on the ice. Some of these games really have a lot to do as we finish off this week before we hit the playoffs. Some of these teams ready to go golfing, some looking to play upset, and some looking to rest players. Looking at their motivation to get these wins is huge in these games. So we're going to break these all down. I'll let you know what I'm thinking these teams are looking to do. Shout out to you, Neil. Happy afternoon to you. Okay, the first one, we're going to look at the San Jose Sharks taking on the Winnipeg Jets. 7 o'clock Eastern in this matchup, total of a 6.5. Now we have the Winnipeg Jets, a huge favorite, and rightly so. This team is fighting for something. They're looking for that wild card spot. Now they have a couple of teams biting at their heels, but I think it's almost a done deal here, you guys. I really do think the Winnipeg Jets will make that wild card spot, eliminating Calgary. Now, Connor Hellebuck is expected in goal for them, and James Reimer expected here for the San Jose Sharks. Looking at this San Jose Sharks team, we know they've been a bet against all season. They love to play upset, though. They did get the win over the Winnipeg Jets back in March on the 28th. So not that long ago, it was a 3-0 win. At minus 340, I can't take the Winnipeg Jets here for the straight up win. This is one where we could see the Sharks really push them into overtime, and Winnipeg just win by that one goal. The underdog has won 11 of the last 12 meetings as well. So this is a hard one. I do think we look at that first period. I lean on the Winnipeg Jets to get a nice big puck line win. I'm just worried about that last couple of minutes. So looking at the first period on the puck line, laying that half a goal is coming in at plus 102 with the Winnipeg Jets, and I think that's where I have to go. These teams are looking for them to come out strong out of the gate, especially Winnipeg, with how much they have on the lines there. So at plus 102, I think that's the way to go. These teams trend to that under. And I do think this one stays under that total with Connor Hellebuck in goal. So that total is 6.5. I love it hitting that under. And I'm with you, Neil. This should be a 3-2 style game. And that's what I'm afraid of, that 3-2. It should be a 3-1. I read your comments in reverse, but it could be a 3-2. And that's why I'm scared of the puck line for the full game. I do think Winnipeg comes out strong to start this one, covers the puck line in the first period. Shout out to you as well, Kenny. Okay, let's move on to the next game. We got the Buffalo Sabres taking on the New York Rangers. Levi expected here for the Buffalo Sabres, and Igor Shesterkin for the New York Rangers. Now, New York sitting third in the Metro. This Metro still, they're within points of each other between the Canes, the Devils, and the Rangers. I do think the Rangers have the possibility of taking second over the New Jersey Devils, but they'll need to get this win here tonight. And I worry about this being kind of a look ahead here, taking on the Buffalo Sabres, who are sitting fifth in the Atlantic. Now, the Sabres have won their last 2 games. Their last game was a big win over the Carolina Hurricanes. So does give me a little bit of concern with the Rangers at minus 195 here on the money line. They have the Leafs on deck on Thursday, and that's their last home game. So where are they going to rest players? Is it going to be in this one versus the Buffalo Sabres, or will it be in the next one versus the Toronto Maple Leafs? If I think they're going to rest any players, I think it would be here versus Buffalo. How much does home ice advantage weigh into the factor with the New York Rangers? I don't know, you guys, to be honest. New York has been phenomenal at home, though, so I'm pretty sure they would want home ice. So do they go for this win here and then rest players versus Toronto? We could see it happen. Now, with the Buffalo Sabres, they have 3 games left. They have the Devils on the road, the Senators at home on Thursday, and Columbus Blue Jackets on the road. So if you're looking for Buffalo over their next couple games, which game they're going to have the most motivation to come out and play, well, I do think they go hard still versus the New York Rangers because they'd love to upset them here. I do think would get the best game out of them at home versus the Senators in that game on Thursday. So I'm not too big on the Sabres here. They have done strong against the Metro, winning their last 5 versus the Metro, but they're 18-38 in the last 56 meetings versus the New York Rangers. They're 4-1 in their last 5 overall. And mixed trends towards the over and the under, with the over hitting in 4 of the last 5 meetings in New York and 10 of the last 4 hitting that under between these two. So you guys, first period, I'm going to look at the first period to go over. I expect a couple of quick goals. We know that Igor Shesterkin is going to be hit by the Buffalo Sabres. It's going to be early. We're seeing this happen in a lot of these games with this total at 6.5. I'm not too confident in the full game over, but the over 1.5 in the first period is coming in at minus 142. And that's where I have to lean for this game. Yeah, I do think Buffalo gets a couple quick ones for sure. My problem here is Neil. I don't know how strong the Rangers are going to come out tonight. Could this be a 2-3 style game? It could be. So I'm not sure on how many goals we'll get for the full game, but I'm counting on those goals to come in early in the first period. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Ottawa Senators then face off at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight. Total 6.5 in this one. Carolina coming in at minus 190. The Ottawa Senators at plus 160. Frederik Andersen expected here for the Carolina Hurricanes, and Matt Sogard expected for the Ottawa Senators. Now, we look at the Senators team. They won that last game over the Tampa Bay Lightning on Saturday. Big win for them, 7-4. And we look at Carolina. They lost their last 2. That last game was versus the Buffalo Sabres. That was a 4-3 loss. Now they're sitting first in the Metro, and yes, they know the Devils and the Rangers are sitting right there fighting for that second spot. And we have the Ottawa Senators ready to pack it in, go to the golf course. This is their last home game, though. When I look at teams with their last home game, that has been a team that has never stopped fighting. I can't fade this team here. This is the first leg of a back-to-back for the Carolina Hurricanes. They've got the Red Wings on deck tomorrow at home. So I do think with a home game on deck, with a back-to-back, we'll see more out of the Canes tomorrow because that is their last home game of the regular season. We'll see them then in the playoffs. So the Panthers on the road on Thursday for the Carolina Hurricanes. So they still got a couple of games ahead of them after this game here versus the Ottawa Senators. It's going to be interesting to see how they come out in this one. I do expect the best out of the Ottawa Senators today. I'm going to prop bet this one. I would love to take the Ottawa Senators plus 1.5. It's minus 165, though, on the puck line. I just can't get there. If I had to bet this one for a side, it would be the Senators on the money line at plus 160. I just think there's too much value. Well, Carolina's the better team. I don't know what we're going to get out of them in this game today. They're sitting comfortably first in the Metro. Now, prop bet for me here. I'm going to look at Brady Tkachuk. He's been a moneymaker for us this season. His last home game for the Ottawa Senators this season, I think he comes out, he finds the back of the net of Frederik Andersen. Anytime goal for Brady Tkachuk is at plus 140 here. So the last time he faced the Carolina Hurricanes, we just saw this matchup on April 4th. It wasn't that long ago, you guys. The Canes won in OT. It was a 3-2 style game in OT. I could see the game going very similar. we saw Matthew Tkachuk score one of those 2 goals for the Ottawa Senators. And I think he comes out at a plus 140, his last home game. I'm going to look for him for that anytime goal. You can look at his points for sure as well. Okay, the next game on the board, you guys. The New York Islanders taking on the Washington Capitals, 7 o'clock Eastern. Sorokin confirmed for the Islanders here and Camper for the Washington Capitals. Now, we know the Islanders are still fighting. They want to get this win tonight, and I think they get it big. Washington has Ovechkin out of this game. This team has already been struggling to score and then take their number 1 goal scorer out of this game at home here. With the amount of points they've been giving up, I cannot back Washington in any fashion. Camper confirmed. I am going to look at the New York Islanders on that puck line. You guys were getting such beautiful money on the puck line at laying 1.5 on that puck line. We're getting plus 158. And that's where my money is going tonight. It's one of my favorite bets. Have the New York Islanders been absolutely inconsistent for us this season? Yes, they have. But I think with the Washington Capitals, huge thing with Ovechkin out. I believe Oshie is out as well. So 2 of their top goal scorers out of this game. I think the Islanders come in. Could I see Sorokin getting a shutout? Absolutely. They won this game just a little earlier in March, 2-1. So I think we got a very similar game here. I could see this being a 3-0 or a 5-2 style game. I think either way, we see the New York Islanders cover that puck line. And at plus 158, there's no other way I can go. At the 5.5, though, you guys, even though I think I could see it playing out 3-0, I could also see that 5-2. So I'm not touching that total of 5.5. If the New York Islanders get a little lazy, their defense, like I said, there's been some inconsistencies, but they are coming off a shutout win over the Philadelphia Flyers. They got a 4-0 win there. So give me Sorokin for a strong night. I'm going to look at his save shots on goal as well for Sorokin here for you guys, because I really do like his ability to get the shutout tonight. I think this game really hinges on Sorokin to come out really strong. Now, Sorokin save shots is 26.5 at minus 116 to the over. We know the Washington Capitals average 31.2, but that's with Ovechkin and Oshie on the ice. The Islanders defense, so while they limit their opponent's ability to find the back of the goal, they are still allowing that average of 31.3. So I do think we have a kind of next man up situation here for the Washington Capitals. I expect these shots to come in. So I'm not opposed to Sorokin over 26.5 save shots on goal. Not one of my favorite. I was hoping that number would be a little bit lighter. Now, if you think like I do, Sorokin could get the shutout tonight. That's at plus 1140 for Sorokin to get a shutout. So if you're going to sprinkle on something, I kind of like that shutout better for Sorokin at plus 1140. I think you put a couple dollars on it. It is worth the turnaround. So give me Sorokin for the shutout at plus 1140. I think it's a great actual bet. I love that one. Now, I'm going to put some money on it right after here. Okay, the next one, the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, this one kicks off at 7 o'clock Eastern as well. Total is sitting solid at 7. The Toronto Maple Leafs coming in here as the dog at plus 130. And before you go, that's too good to be true. Let's jump on the Maple Leafs. You got to remember that they're probably going to rest players here. The Florida Panthers come in here at minus 150. Yes, it's juicy. Shop those lines. I did see minus 140s. High minus 140s earlier today. So Leon expected in goal for them and Samsonov expected here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the last time these teams played back in March, the Florida Panthers got a 3-2 win. I expect Florida to come out strong in this one. They are desperately trying to hang on to a playoff spot. And I think we see another big performance. Again, Matthew Tkachuk. We're going to look at the Tkachuk brothers. I'm high on both of them today, both pivotal for their teams. I think Matthew Tkachuk has a really strong game here versus the Toronto Maple Leafs that I do believe players will be rested. Look at the Leafs. Look at their schedule. They have the Tampa Bay Lightning on deck and then the Rangers on deck. Both those road games to finish the season. We already know Toronto and Tampa are going to be facing each other in the playoffs. This is going to be one where Toronto will not rest their players in the next game. They might rest them versus the Rangers. In this one here, I think we do see rested players versus the Florida Panthers. So especially off that 7-0 or 7-1 win versus Montreal. So I expect Florida to come out nice and strong. Florida on that money line, it's juicy, but I do think it is worth the extra juice you have to lay here. Matthew Tkachuk over 1.5 points. Beautiful plus money at plus 168. Could I see Matthew Tkachuk getting a hat trick here? It'll depend. Samsonov might allow it. I don't know, you guys. Samsonov isn't confirmed yet. If it ends up being Brian Elliott, Matthew Tkachuk for the hat trick, I don't know. I could see it coming. They've got one home game left, though, versus the Carolina Hurricanes on Thursday. So it's not their last home game, and we'll see another one out of them. But I do expect a big day out of both Tkachuk brothers. But Matthew Tkachuk over 1.5 points in this one for the Florida Panthers at plus 168. These teams trend to that over, but I'm not going to touch it. We've seen the Florida Panthers really lock down defensively. I don't know if we get the goals out of the Toronto Maple Leafs with players resting, but I do trust in the Florida Panthers to get this win. Yeah, I thought they would have rested against Montreal as well. Happy Wednesday or happy Monday to you. Why did I think it was Wednesday? I don't know. It's been a long weekend. You guys, the Dallas Stars taking on the Detroit Red Wings. This is a really interesting matchup. So this one kicks off at 7 o'clock Eastern. We got a low total of 6, minus 180 for the Dallas Stars, plus 155 for the Red Wings. Jake Ottinger expected for the Stars, and Husso is confirmed already for the Red Wings. Now, the last time these teams played back in December, we had a tight game. It was a 3-2 game. We've got 2 games versus the Blues on deck for the Dallas Stars. One will be on the road, and then the last one at home. And when we look at the Red Wings, I think we get the best effort out of this team tonight. They are on that back-to-back. This is their first leg of a back-to-back, but this is their last home game. They've got the Carolina Hurricanes on deck and then the Tampa Bay Lightning. If they're going to win a game, I think it would be this one. I think there's value on plus 1.5 at minus 160 in a parlay. I wouldn't bet that straight up. I do think this is a tighter game. They got absolutely dominated in their last game out versus the Penguins. They don't want to get dominated in this one, but I do think this one cruises over that total. I was shocked that this one is at 6. I expected this one to be at 6.5. I know Jake Ottinger has been really solid in goal for the Dallas Stars, but this team has won their last 3 games, and they're on that shootout win over Vegas, 2-1 at home. I think we kind of see players resting in this one for the Dallas Stars. Now they're clinging on to second in the Central, so I understand the importance of winning here for the Dallas Stars, but I don't think it's a blowout win. I do think this one goes over that total. I like the first period over 1.5 more than anything. The over 1.5 in the first period is minus 122. The both teams to score, you guys know I absolutely love both teams to score in this one between the Red Wings and the Stars. That's coming in at plus 172. So you guys, I do think higher scoring. First period over 1.5. Both teams to score in the first period at plus 172 is the way I've got to go. And if you really want to jump on a side, the Red Wings plus the 1.5. For a tighter game, I still think the Stars win, but not blow them out. Hey, Kelly, welcome. I'm glad to see you here. Brett Burns, shots on goal. That is a nice one for sure. Yeah, when teams get dominated, it's not their choice. I know it's not their choice to get dominated. That is for sure. Okay, let's look at the next one. We got the Minnesota Wild taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, Gustafson is confirmed here for the Minnesota Wild, and I really have liked the Chicago Blackhawks a lot more with Marc-Andre Fleury expected, but Gustafson now confirmed for the Minnesota Wild, which I'm actually surprised by because this is the first leg of a back-to-back for the Minnesota Wild. The Jets on deck tomorrow. Now, for Calgary's sake, Calgary would love to see the Minnesota Wild dominate over the Jets tomorrow, but with them putting Gustafson here and not Marc-Andre Fleury, I think the the Minnesota Wild are already saying, okay, we'll win tonight, probably lose tomorrow and not care. So I am not sure. Hang on. I've got to tell my daughter to turn off her music because my YouTube will lock it down. So just give me 1 second. Because if I can hear it, I know you guys can hear it. She's on spring break. Love that spring break time. So I do look at this, and I really did like the Chicago Blackhawks before, but I think we're going to see the best effort out of the Minnesota Wild tonight, which is scary. So with the Pride at home, I was leaning on the Blackhawks at +1.5 at -125. Now with Gustafson, I think it's going to be a harder job here. The first leg of a back-to-back for the Chicago Blackhawks. They have the Penguins on the road tomorrow, Flyers at home on Thursday to finish their season. I do think they get the win on Thursday versus the Flyers. I think that's when we're going to see the best game out of them in that one. Yeah, no one is vacuuming. It's just her bass with her music, you guys. I would be shocked if all of a sudden she was vacuuming. The Wild have dominated versus the Blackhawks as well, winning the last 8 meetings. So it's too bad. I really wish the Wild would bring their A game for the Calgary Flames tomorrow, but I still think the Calgary Flames are just done anyway. They're going to struggle. So looking at the Minnesota Wild, first period on that puck line, I absolutely love. And the Wild on the puck line, the Wild first period puck line with Gustafson confirmed. This is the game they want to win. New York Islanders laying the 1 or in regulation under 1 in the first period for Nashville and Calgary. Nice way to look, Kelly, there. If it comes under, it's because Markstrom's actually stood on his head. So we'll have to see with that if he can stand on his head. And I'd love her to tell her to crank it up. She definitely will be as soon as I'm off air. My house runs with music on all the time. Chicago doesn't want to win. Okay, so Kelly, I hear you on Chicago not wanting to win. The management doesn't want to win. The coaches don't want to win. But you get these young players out on the ice. Some of these lineups, we have not seen these younger players out there. They have everything in their hearts wanting to win. So we'll see how the Blackhawks come out. But I do think the Blackhawks come out best on Thursday versus the Philadelphia Flyers. And that's when we'll see these young stars really get up for that game. The next game on the board with the Nashville Predators taking on the Calgary Flames. Talk about my Calgary Flames. 5th in the Pacific off that shootout loss to the Vancouver Canucks. Now, they went down hard and fast in that first period with Markstrom letting in that early goal again. All of these games, he's been letting in that early goal. And that is why I have to look at that first period over 1.5 because I do think Jacob Markstrom, if he's going to be hit, it's going to be hit hard and fast. I don't see him getting hit in the third period hard. I think it's in that first as those nerves get away from him. So Saros is confirmed or expected here for the Nashville Predators. And this team is off a loss to the Jets. It was a 2-0 loss versus the Winnipeg Jets. They were unable to score, getting shut out. Calgary, I tell you, this team is frustrating, you guys. I think this game has the ability to go to OT. Both of these teams are fighting for a chance to win. So if I'm going to bet anything in this game, is to go to overtime, +360 to go to overtime tonight. And then I think I'm just going to sit back and stress it out. As a fan, we're having Easter dinner tonight. So we will be watching this. Oh, it's 9:30 Eastern. That's 7:30 my time. Yeah, we'll be watching it right at that time. But I do think overtime. And if I was going to take, and I know you guys threw out the under in the first period, I'd have to hit it over 1.5 in the first period because we know both of these teams can be hit early in these games. Jacob Markstrom has been hit too early in the games as of late. Now, can Calgary get this win? Absolutely. Is it going to help them? No, because Winnipeg is going to have to lose everything for Calgary to have a chance here. And I don't think that happens. So I look at that first period. We've got, let's just see, when does Winnipeg play? It's going to be really interesting because you know these guys are going to know what's happening in these games. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I do think the overtime is the way to go with this at +360. It just screams value. And then I'm going to look at the over 1.5. Now, I would look at Saros's save shots on goal when we get the confirmation by him because Calgary is going to be coming out so strong. They're averaging that 35.7 shots on goal per game, and they could still win it. while putting over his numbers here. So that would be something I would be looking at also if you want another bet in this one. But Calgary absolutely has to come out strong. So we'll see what happens. They only have the Sharks at home on a Wednesday, and this is the last road game for the Nashville Predators. They have the Wild and the Abs on deck at home for their next ones. Nashville hasn't been scoring, but we know Jacob Markstrom. He's hurt us. He's hurt the Calgary Flames. Those goals are coming on the first or second shot against Jacob Markstrom. So when we say Nashville hasn't been scoring, I would rather look at what these goalies have been doing. For me, that's a bigger indication on that first period over 1.5 than anything. I do look at these top goalies if I think the game could be higher scoring for those goals to come in super early. The goalies be caught off guard. But Jacob Markstrom letting those goals in early, that's where the fade looks for me. Okay, the next game on the board, the Seattle Kraken are taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Now, the Coyotes, this is their second last game of the season. They have another home game versus the Vancouver Canucks. And the Seattle Kraken sitting really solid in their playoff spot here, rolling in at -240. Now, they won their last 4 games, and this team looking to stay hot rolling into the playoffs, I do believe. But they're too big of a favorites here at -240. They don't want injuries. I do think they probably go up in this game. I think the Arizona Coyotes keep fighting back. I can't pass up something that has made us money week in and week out of the Arizona Coyotes, +1.5 on that puck line at -125. They are 24-15 on that puck line at home and 21-14, 3-1 at home this season. And we look at the Seattle Kraken, they've been phenomenal on the puck line on the road as well, 26-13 on the road. But in a lot of these cases, or in more cases than not, they have been the the underdog, not the favorite. So they have been keeping these games tight. This is the first leg of a back-to-back 2, which also leans me on the Arizona Coyotes on that puck line because of who the Seattle Kraken have. Their last 2 games of the season are versus the dreaded Vegas Golden Knights, who are sitting first in the Pacific. The next game will be tomorrow in Vegas and then Thursday at home in Seattle. So I do think this is a clear look-ahead spot. The Arizona Coyotes plus that 1.5 at -125. is absolutely screaming at me tonight as one of my favorite bets, especially when we saw the Coyotes get dominated by the Seattle Kraken in Seattle. We saw those 2 games play out there. I think Seattle kind of overlooks them in this one. The Kraken's momentum is peaking. I completely agree with you, but the Arizona Coyotes at home, they love to cover that puck line, just like you said. They absolutely keep these games tight. They don't want to be blown out at all. And just Vegas on deck. That's a scary one for Seattle. So I could see Seattle getting up in the first, even in the second, and then the Arizona Coyotes in that third period covering that puck line. So that's what I'd look at. If you like Seattle, go with the first period. We know the momentum they are riding with. So the Vancouver Canucks taking on the LA Kings is the last game of the night, 10:30 Eastern in this one. Now, to say the Kings have to get things back on track is an understatement. They've lost their last 3 games. They slid down to 3rd in the Pacific, letting the dreaded Edmonton Oilers sneak in a second here. The Vancouver Canucks are sitting 6th in the Pacific. They got that nice upset win over the Calgary Flames in a shootout, potentially knocking Calgary out of playoff contention. I really think Calgary's out, but it's another story. I keep saying it. Demko expected here for the Vancouver Canucks and Korpisalo expected for the LA Kings. We're going to check goalie props on this one in just a second, because if it is Korpisalo, I want to look at his save shots on goal today. Now, the last time these teams played, just on the 2nd, so 8 days ago, we did see a big win for the LA Kings, 4-1. And I think they do it again. They have to go into the playoffs with some sort of momentum. They can't lose 4 in a row. They have to get a nice big home win here. So I'm going to ride on them. The scary thing is, though, is how the Canucks have played in LA. They won 4 of the last 5 meetings in LA, and they've gone 9-2 in the last 11 meetings versus the LA Kings. But this LA Kings team is physical. I think we'll see a Vancouver Canucks team out on the road here that is ready to pack it in for the season. They're not at home. Give me the Kings first period puck line laying the half a goal at plus 140. I think it is a fantastic way to take this game. And I lied. Oh, I didn't lie. We got baseball after that tonight, but that is it for the hockey slate, you guys. We're going to build a parlay. Let me just look if Korpisalo has been confirmed for the LA Kings, because I definitely want to bet his save shots on goal tonight. And I'm looking at this because we look at the LA Kings. They have Korpisalo and they have Phoenix Copley. Who is their number one goalie is my biggest question. I think they all think it's Phoenix Copley here, but I do think Korpisalo has a chance to start the playoffs for them. He has to prove himself. He has to prove himself tonight for one. So Korpisalo safe shots on goal is 24.5 at minus 116 to the over. And that's exactly where we're going to go with this. I am thinking this line is way, way too light. Now, the LA Kings do a really good job at limiting opponents' ability to get these shots on goal, holding opponents to 28.1. But the Vancouver Canucks still averaging right around that 30 shots on goal per game. I do think we get enough out of this team offensively to get over 27, 28, 29 shots on goal. And I don't think we will see these goals go in tonight. So I am counting on Korpisalo to go over 24.5 save shots on goal. I expected this number to come in at 25. I was still going to write it over, so I'm really happy to see this. Favorite prop of the day is Korpisalo. Like I said, he needs to prove himself to this team that he can be their number one goalie going into the playoffs. I am really interested to see who LA will end up starting. So it's going to be great. I can't ride with the over in that one. I'm staying off the total for sure. I just can't get there. Okay, you guys. And Kelly, you know what? I think they pretty much are. I think they're kind of fighting it out with the Kings or the Oilers. I haven't looked at the numbers right now, but with how both of these teams are playing, I really do think Edmonton has nailed that second spot. I think Edmonton would have to lose everything. Kings would have to win everything. And actually, I don't think they have enough games to catch Edmonton. So I'm pretty sure they're going to sit third in the Pacific as it stands right now. Okay, you guys, let's recap. Let's build a parlay and let's make some freaking money today. So the San Jose Sharks and the Winnipeg Jets here. You know what? I have to take the Jets in the first period. I do think they come out nice and strong. The San Jose Sharks are going to be looking to play upset. They played really strong in Winnipeg as well. I at first wanted to take both teams to score in the first period, as I thought Connor Hellebuck might be caught early, but I'm going to stay off it. I think the Winnipeg Jets come out strong. Their defense has to completely show up right out of the gate. They've got way too much to play for. I do think this one stays under that total of 6.5. Too many strong trends to that under to expect this one to be a Sharks team that can really put up those goals. This isn't a team that can put up a whole lot of goals. So for the parlay, give me Jets first period. And we'll take them in the parlay on the money line just for parlay reasons, but I do like that puck line laying a half a goal at plus 102. The Buffalo Sabres and the New York Rangers. I think this is a high scoring first period. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Sabres and the New York Rangers over 1.5 in the first period. I do like both teams to score in this one. The over 1.5, though, isn't too highly juiced at minus 142. I do think the Rangers could possibly pull off both of those goals themselves here in the Garden. And I'm going to stay off the full game because I just don't trust in it enough to be a puck line win for the New York Rangers. And you know we can't lay that money line. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Ottawa Senators, I do think will get the best out of the Sens tonight in this home game. So I'm going to take the Sens plus 1.5 on the puck line for the full game in the parlay at minus 165. I can't bet it straight up. If you want to bet it straight up, I will just sprinkle. Put a little bit on the Ottawa Senators to pull off the upset here. These teams went to overtime just on the 4th, and the Canes got a 3-2 win. I love Brady Tkachuk for that anytime goal tonight at plus 140. Like I said, he scored a goal versus the Canes in his last game out on the 4th of the 2 goals that were scored by the Ottawa Senators. And in this last home game, I think we get the best out of Brady Tkachuk. The next game on the board, the New York Islanders taking on the Washington Capitals. This is Islanders all day long. In the parlay, I'll take the Islanders straight up on the money line. But you guys, my clients already got the Islanders laying the puck line, laying 1.5 at plus 158. You can take them in that first period as well. If you like the Washington Capitals just struggling to score, and Ovechkin is out, and this team is giving up goals left, right, center. So I do think the Islanders have a huge night here. Cover that puck line, cover the first period puck line. And because I think the Islanders come out so strong, I can't touch that total of 5.5. We could see the Islanders get 5 goals themselves. And if the Washington Capitals put up even 1, we go over that total. So I'm not touching it. Sorokin for the shutout. You guys know I think it's worth a shot here for the shutout, plus 1140 for Sorokin. I like it better than looking at his save shots on goal because I don't love that number that we saw come in there. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers in the parlay. Give me Florida on the money line. I do think they get the win tonight over the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think the Leafs come out, just go through the motions. They have the Lightning on deck, and then the Rangers both games on the road. And I think what we're going to see out of them is them stand up in those games. Like I said, I'm high on the Tkachuk brothers, so I'm also going to take Brady Tkachuk over 1.5 points tonight at plus 168. I'm expecting a huge night out of him. If it's not Sam Snuff and goal, which I'm pretty sure it is for the Maple Leafs, I would look at Brady Tkachuk, small sprinkle on a hat trick. God, could we take Brady Tkachuk for a hat trick as well? Man, I don't know. I might do that as well. I haven't bet anyone for a hat trick in quite a while, so I'm feeling it tonight with both of those brothers for big nights. The Dallas Stars and the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings plus 1.5, I do think is a solid way to go, but I do think the Dallas Stars get the win. So for the parlay, I'm going to take the Dallas Stars on the money line. They won back in December 3-2, but if you want to take the Red Wings plus 1.5, I wouldn't blame you. I do think the first period goes over 1.5. That's coming in at minus 122. Phenomenal way to go with that. And I also think both teams can score in that first period. That is coming in at plus 172. Now, Jake Ottinger, outstanding in net for the Dallas Stars. So I do think he'll let one slip quick. Best effort out of the Detroit Red Wings tonight in their last home game. So that's why I do lean on them plus that 1.5 as well. This is the last home game. They will do their best out there on the ice. The Minnesota Wild and the Chicago Blackhawks. Like I said, with Gustafsson now confirmed, I think this is a Wilds game all day long. I originally had like Chicago with Marc-Andre Fleury plus the 1.5, but I can't get behind it now. So give me the Minnesota Wild. In the first period, that's where I like it the best. This is the first leg of a back-to-back. They have the Winnipeg Jets on deck tomorrow. So, and then they have the Preds on deck. So give me the Wild on the puck line in the first period at minus 0.5 for the parlay. I do think they come out strong in that first period. I'm a little cautious with the full game even still. The Nashville Predators and the Calgary Flames. You guys, I'm leaving this out of the parlay. If you want to bet this one, I think this is the game that has the opportunity to go to overtime at plus 360. I think it's worth a sprinkle. We're going to look at Saros's save shots on goal right now because I do think Calgary, no matter what, puts up these shots on the Nashville Predators. Nashville not notoriously strong for limiting opponents' ability to get these shots on goal. So we do have Jacob Markstrom and Saros confirmed. Saros coming in. It is a high number at 32.5 at minus 112. Minus 122 for Saros. But I do think we still see Calgary put up 40 shots on goal. I would be shocked if we see Saros allow 8 shots on to go into the back of his goal. The Nashville Predator is allowing that 33.3 average shots on goal per game, and Calgary averaging 35.7. Look for Calgary to put close to 40 shots in on Saros in this game, and for him to nicely go over 32.5 save shots on goal. So that's where I'm going with that goalie prop, you guys. I love it. I think the prop bets in this one is where to go. The Seattle Kraken and the Arizona Coyotes. You guys know I love this Coyotes team plus 1.5 on the puck line at minus 125. I'll throw that into the parlay. I think they'll be able to keep it tight. The Vancouver Canucks and the LA Kings, the last game on the board. I think this is the Kings game to dominate in. I'm going to take the Kings here on the puck line in the first period. For the parlay, just give me the Kings on the money line. It's minus 190-ish, so it's a little juicy, but I don't care in the parlay. But the Kings on the puck line first period, minus 0.5 goal is plus 140. Korpisalo, we're going to take him over 24.5 save shots on goal. That's coming in at minus 116 for the LA Kings. And again, I love this. While Vancouver doesn't normally get a ton of shots, and we know the LA Kings can limit opponents, this number 24.5, I thought was going to be 25.5. So I do think 24.5 is too low. I think they put up right around their average of that 30 shots on goal. And Korpisalo could get the shutout tonight. I actually don't mind him for a shutout the more I talk about it. Let's just look at what Korpisalo is for the shutout tonight. You guys know I love that plus money. I'm an absolute sucker for plus money. And if you're just sprinkling plus 1,100 for Korpisalo to get the shutout versus the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver has dominated them in the past, so be cautious with that one. But like I said, I do think we have Korpisalo battling for if he's number 1 or number 2 goalie here. So Kings crush tonight. Yeah, they absolutely will. I love it. Edmonton has 105 points. Kings have 100. Yeah, so Kings only have, one more game on deck. Like I said, Kings will have to win everything. Edmonton will have to lose, and I still don't think they can get it done. So, you guys, it's been a fantastic afternoon. Let's recap that parlay. I wish you guys all the best in all of your bets tonight. We're going to take the Winnipeg Jets first period money line. We're going to take the Buffalo Sabres and the New York Rangers over 1.5 in the first period. We're going to take the Senators plus 1.5 on the puck line. Don't forget about Brady Tkachuk. I have a feeling tonight. And take the Islanders on the money line, the Florida Panthers on the money line, the Dallas Stars on the money line, or you could put the Red Wings on the puck line. I'm torn with that one. The Wild on the puck line, first period, minus 0.5 goal. The Coyotes plus 1.5 on that puck line, and the Kings on the money line. My goalie props, I love tonight. The Islanders goalie, Sorokin, over 32. Sorry, Sorokin, I don't have his number. I like Sorokin shutout tonight at plus 1140. Saros over 32.5 save shots on goal for the Nashville Predators. Korpisalo for the LA Kings over 24.5 save shots on goal. And for the shutout, I'm sprinkling at plus 1100. I love the Islanders on the puck line tonight. I think they are one of my favorite bets of the night. I love the LA Kings on the puck line in that first period, you guys. Those are 2 of my client bets tonight, 2 of my favorite bets of the night. Looking at the other ones here, I think the Florida Panthers get the win, and I think Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk, big nights. But you guys, thanks so much for joining me here for Pikkit with Joe. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. It's great to see everyone in the chat. Make sure below this video you drop who you are betting today, who you are liking, so everyone can tail you. Let's make some freaking money together, you guys. All the best. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you back here tomorrow.